him. The resumption of session 111 is now called to order. May we request our brother MP Al-Awwal Pak to lead us in the invocation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma la tada' lana dhanban fi hadzal maqam illa ghafarta wa la maridan illa shafaita wa la hamman wa la ghamman illa farrijta wa la daynan illa qadayta wa la hajatan min hawaijina fi hadzal hayah illa antana ala qadaha ya rabbal alamin. Allahumma inna as'aluka min kulli khair ما سألك من نبيك وحبيبك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونستعيذ بك من كل شر ما استعاذك منه نبيك وحبيبك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم إنا نسألك أن تعزنا وتنصر المسلمين في كل مكان وأن تعلي بفضلك كلمة الحق والدين وأن تشمل بعنايتك ورعايتك وحمايتك إخوان المجاهدين في فلسطين وفي كل مكان رب العالمين ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Floor leader, what is the pleasure of the floor leader?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. To our speaker, the Honorable Muhammad Yaqub. To our Deputy Speaker, Honorable Jose Iribani Lorena, proud son of Sulu and Tawi-tawi, and to all members of the Parliament, colleagues, our guests who are here today, and those joining us online. Again, assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. Before we proceed further with the committee reports, the Honorable Presiding Officer, I will have to move to amend order of business to include two priority bills on districting, which were filed yesterday. Parliament Bill number 407 and 408. So move.
There is a motion from the floor leader requesting that we modify the order of business by the inclusion of some two bills, pending bills on redistricting. Do I hear a second? Do you hear any objection? Hearing none, the same is approved.
With that, Mr. Speaker, may I request the Secretariat to be directed to read on first reading Parliament Bill numbers 407 and 408.
The Secretariat, as requested, is requested to read these two bills.
BTA Parliament Bill number 407, providing for the creation of parliamentary districts in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, authored by MPs Muhammad Yaqub, Mohager Iqbal, Edward Guerra, Sohaib Oranon, Said Sheikh, Said Salindab, Ali Salik, Abdul Wahab Pak, Ali Sulaiman, Hussein Munoz, Don Asnawi, Ahmad Abbas, Harun Abbas, Basit Abbas, Mosber Alauddin, Ramon Piang Sr., Abdullah Makapar, and Raisa Jajuri, and co-authored by MPs Shah Elijah Dumama Alba, Lanang Ali Jr., Ubaida Pakasem, Abdullah Hasim, Matarul Estino, Suharto Ismail, Amiruddin Gayak, Mujib Abu, Benjamin Loong, Baileng Mantawil, Kadil Sinulinding Jr., and Tawakal Mitimbang.
Floor leader.
Thank you, Secretariat. There's still another one Parliament Bill which I request to be read also by the Secretariat pertaining to Parliament Bill number 408.
As
On
requested,
first reading.
As requested, the Secretary directed the said to read the same bill, said bill. Yes,
There's a point of order.
the gentleman
Honorable
from Sulu is recognized. What's the point of order? Sulu and tawi-tawi.
Yun lang po. Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader, Mr. Speaker. Yun lang po kanina earlier.
On what
Yan.
particular bill?
May I be clarified? Kailan ito pinail? Was this filed earlier before the declaration of the BA 77 and BA 58 as unconstitutional?
Honorable Speaker, with your
Yes,
permission, may
please.
I respond?
Please respond.
Per record, on the face of the filed Parliament bills 407 and 408, both were filed October 28, 2025. Parliament Bill 407 was filed at 3 p.m. yesterday, and Parliament Bill 408 was filed 3:55 of the same day, Mr.
Because-
Speaker.
Thank you, Mr.
Are you
Floor Leader.
satisfied?
I had a short talk with my seatmate, our speaker, and he said noon pa ito. So when was the date?
Again,
October?
if I may reply, Mr. Speaker.
Please.
Yes, I'm reading based on the face of the filed bills. Both were filed October 28, 2025.
25.
Both yesterday. Yes, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you, Floor Leader.
Thank you. Floor Leader, you can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Parliament will recall that last Monday, we terminated the period of interpellation for Committee Report number 160 pertaining to Parliament Bill number 55. I moved for its termination, which was approved by the Honorable Presiding Officer then. With that, I respectfully move that the adopted Committee Report 160 be open for amendment.
Before we approve the motion, may we request for purposes of recalling the said particular bill, the Secretary to read that bill. For purposes of recall. What's that, the subject of the bill, and who is what committee is that?
Honorable Speaker, may I interrupt with the apologies? I think the Secretariat has not read the 408. My apologies.
Yes.
Just for the record, maybe this representation request that the Secretariat be directed to read Parliament Bill number 408.
As moved by the floor leader, may we direct the Secretariat to read Bill 408.
Parliament Bill number 408, an act providing for the creation of parliamentary districts in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, and this bill is authored by MPs Romeo Sema, Abdul Karim Miswari, Randolph Parcarcio, Sarapudin Jikiri, and Nureda Miswari.
Okay, so what's the proceed, floor leader?
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. Before that reading, you directed the Secretariat for the benefit of the plenary to read again for brevity, Committee Report 160, which is Parliament Bill number 55. Am I correct in my understanding, Honorable Speaker, sir?
Secretariat, please read Committee Report 155,
At least the title.
at least the title.
Committee Report number 160, submitted by the Committee on Rules, BTA Parliament Bill number 55, creating the Bangsamoro Nutrition Commission in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, providing for its mandate, powers, and functions, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes.
Floor Leader, what's the parliamentary status of the bill?
Yes, as I said earlier, Honorable Speaker, we terminated the period of interpellation last Monday, and due to lack of material time, we suspended that session, and now this representation is moving that the same committee report be now open for amendment by the plenary.
There is a motion from the floor to open the period of amendment of Parliament on Committee Report number 55. Do I hear any second? There is a motion duly seconded. Do I hear any objection? The same is approved. Period of amendment on Committee Report number 55 is open.
Honorable Chair, Honorable Presiding Officer, you will recall that last Monday there were several interpellators who have manifested their intention to file the necessary amendments based on their interpellations. One of those interpellators, I received a copy of her written amendment, proposed amendment, the Honorable Deputy Speaker Liza Alamia. I believe that a copy of the proposed amendment has been submitted to the Secretariat for processing, and I suppose another MP will also manifest that when we do the amendment procedure.
Do we have the copy of the amendment submitted by Deputy Speaker Liza, Secretariat? Do we have? Floor Leader,
1 minute suspension.
1 minute suspension.
As per consensus by our honorable MPs, we will proceed with the amendments. Those who are here already, who are ready, we will submit their proposed amendments, including the one which was a written proposed amendment by Deputy Speaker Liza Alamia.
to no longer be on the floor but by submission.
Yes, yes, Honorable Speaker, sir.
The floor leader, per the consensus of the body, manifested that the amendments will not be done on the floor, but will just be submitted by the proponents so that the committee and the author can respond to that on whether to accept or not the amendments. So with that, we proceed with the, are you moving to close down the period of amendments?
No, not now, Honorable Speaker, because many MPs who cannot be with us today on official duties have manifested their intention to present on the floor their amendments. But now, with the indulgence of the Honorable Presiding Speaker, the Honorable Jose Lorena, the proponent, Minister, Honorable MP Dr. Jojo Sinolinding, will present present his own version of proposed amendment as well, in view of the result of the interpellations that was made last Monday, Honorable Presiding Officer, sir.
So are you moving that we recognize MP Sinolinding?
Yes, respectfully moving that MP Sinolinding, Minister of Health, be recognized.
MP Jojo Sinolinding, Minister of Health, is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Floor Leader.
Honorable Speaker, there's a point of order raised by the Honorable Nabil Khan.
Deputy Speaker Nabil Tan wants to raise a point of order. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader, Mr. Presiding Officer. Meron lang po ako tanong. We are now at the period of amendments. And this is a committee report submitted by the Honorable Committee Chair.
Bilang galing. Committee on Health.
Committee on Rules. Now, my understanding is if you have any amendments and you are the committee chair, dapat doon sa committee, naubos mo na yung amendments. Kasi in the floor, when you report that for plenary discussion, you will defend that committee report. Pero the individual who are not members of the committee may present the amendments. Yun po ang pagkakaalam ko. Ngayon, we are giving the opportunity to the Honorable Minister MP Jojo to make the amendments after all individual amendments have been submitted. May I be clarified if this is still in accordance with our rules?
May I respond, Honorable
Please
Floor Leader?
respond to the query.
Well, that is true, no? That during committee report, it was already signed, no, and submitted to the plenary. But because precisely the committee report undergoes interpellation, and during interpellation, there are other brilliant ideas that come out. That's why the committee report is still susceptible to changes. That's why we do period of interpellations, and after that, out of that interpellation, we do period of amendments. But I also agree that the proponent cannot amend. But in this case, what he will be doing is based on the interpellation last Monday, especially on the structures that were raised, no, during the interpellations. He will present that. So when the other MPs will come here to join the period of amendments, they will also be apprised by the
Let me, okay. Deputy Speaker, Pro Leader, whom do you want to recognize first?
First in, first out, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Pride of Cotabato City,
Mr.
Omar
Speaker, I think-
Crisostomo Sem.
Mr. Speaker,
Deputy Speaker, for a while, or you are not yet recognized. I will recognize you first.
Mr. Speaker, I
Deputy
think you
Speaker
still have the
Sema is
floor.
recognized. Please proceed.
Manifestation of LP and I am offering myself to propose the proposed amendment of Dr. Tinurindi, just in case he insists on proposing his, insisting his amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, with that manifestation, would that be, would the presiding chair be open to that?
Let me first clarify the issue of the rule. As alleged, it is correct that when a bill is referred to a committee, the committee amendments are done in the committee. But if there are issues which committee members cannot agree and which they want to propose in the floor, then they should make the reservation. After the reservation, then only on that issue can they propose an amend. But when it reaches the floor, the committee report, individual members of the parliament can propose individual amendments. That members of the committee, that individual amendments, however, can either be propounded by the member earlier on and responded to by the committee chair or the author of the committee. And therefore, as a matter of procedure, I agree with Deputy Speaker Tan that the committee amendments has been concluded in the committee level. But the individual amendments can now be traced out. Now, as a matter of procedure, if there is a request from the floor that we can consolidate, we can gather together individual amendment and ask the committee chair to respond altogether, it could also be done.
Okay.
Without the other members propounding. That's collectively the rule. And therefore, we can proceed. I think it's now very clear that we have clarified that issue on the committee amendments and individual amendments. Please proceed, Floor Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. I have to admit some fault, no? My understanding was that the good minister will be presenting amendments. He gave clarification. What he will do is to present those that were tackled for future reference by the interpellators when they do amendments. He will just present the structures as came out during the interpellations. With that, may the Honorable Speaker recognize the Honorable Minister.
Yes,
Sinilindi.
for purposes of clarity on the structure, we now recognize Minister and MP Jojo Silodin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Floor Leader, and to all the honorable members of the Parliament. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon to each and everyone. Mr. Speaker, may we request the Secretariat to please flash the proposed organizational structure in response to the query of Honorable Deputy Speaker Baintan Ampatuan for reference in the future discussions, Mr. Speaker.
Secretariat, please comply to the request. Please flash the structure. Gentleman from Sulu, what's your point of order?
With all due respect to my boss, the Minister of Health, and of course the proponent of this bill, while we are receiving a lot of amendments, of course, as decided a while ago by the floor leader, I think it would be inconvenient, sorry for the word, for the proponent to present some amendments, should I say, while the committee is still receiving amendments to the bill. Because we have to wait for some other. What's the purpose of presenting while it is not yet final, And it is only upon the source what that was discussed during the interpellation. I think all this data received during the interpellation should be discussed in the committee level, not here in the plenary, as done by our Honorable Minister of Health. I think parang hindi magandang precedence na gagawin pag may marinig tayong good suggestions or good ideas in the interpellations, gagawin natin kaagad ipipresent sa, while i-amen din naman. After all, ma-receive natin ang lahat ng amendments. So bakit di natin pa i-consolidate muna yung amendments in the committee level para minsanan yung presentation dito sa loob, sa plenary. Yun lang po,
Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Deputy Speaker, and thank you, Deputy Speaker, my kababayan. True, no? First, that we will not be referring to committee because the committee report is now in the plenary. Second, as I manifested earlier, I took personal responsibility. My understanding was it was an amendment. But what the good Minister of Health will be doing is presenting the structural
Organizational structure.
organizational structure of the proposed nutritional Bangsamoro Nutrition Commission for reference by the MPs who will be submitting their amendments later on.
With that, Floor Leader, I'd like to come in on that. Perhaps we should move first to, if there is a request from the floor of plenary to reopen the presentation of the committee report, because if this is an unfinished business of the committee report, then after the presentation of the structure, then we can close it again for just purposes of proper the order, then we can proceed with the amendment. I think what was manifested by the floor correctly is this is to enlighten the Parliament of the structure of which was not presented during the discussion and interpellation. So I would suggest to the floor that we can do that, but we can allow the principal author to explain that during the period, because this is already a period of amendment. Thank you. Floor? So 1 minute,
1 minute suspension.
Resume.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This representation welcomes back to the earth the Honorable Presiding Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Jose Iribani Lorena, Pride of Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi, who will propose his amendment to the committee report, adopted committee report. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, ma'am.
Deputy Speaker, Attorney Jose Lorena is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Floor Leader. If the good gentleman author of this bill would yield to some questions, I would like to, some amendments, I would like to propose an amendment.
Please answer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, distinguished representative from Sulu and Tawi-Tawi. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, Madam Speaker.
Yesterday, thank you, Madam Speaker. Yesterday, in the course of my interpellation, I made some reservation. I will propose an amendment today. In your report, you mentioned about the structure of the Bangsamoro Nutrition Commission, which includes one chairperson to be appointed and 4 ex officio members.
Three as approved by the
as
committee.
approved by the committee. Now, in my understanding, when you want to have a commission, at least the minimum is you have a 3 because we cannot leave a commission just to one person. So I am proposing that we increase the number of permanent appointed to the commission from 1 to 3. 1 chairman and 2 members of the commission. And since there are agencies aligned with the nutrition program, particularly MSSD and MILG to link us to the local government because we have to localize nutrition program, then I propose that we add 2 more agencies, 3 more agencies to make it 9 all in all. 3 permanent commissioners, 1 chairman and 2 members, and 6 ex officio members of the commission. That to me would bring us from a coordinating agency to a more permanent structure and assure that there will be continuity of the program. Because to have only 1 chairman as holders and keepers of all the program would not only be very difficult, but it's not practical. So I propose that that amendment be considered by the author and the committee. Thank you.
Before we act on that motion, may we request the Secretariat to show on the screen and introduce the wordings of the proposal propounded by the honorable gentleman from Tawi-Tawi and Sulu, so that everybody would understand and know the specific section that will be amended. Secretariat? So, the proponent, can you restate your proposed amendment? Can you please restate your
My amendment to this particular section on the structure of the commission is we increase the number of permanent members of the commission from 1 to 3, chairman and 2 members, and increase the number of ex officio from 3 to 6 because it should not be an even number. We have 3 plus 8, you cannot, because they cannot decide. There will always be 1 to break the tie. So I would propose an increase from 3 ex officio members to 6 ex officio members, considering that yesterday there are other agencies who manifested that they have money relatively to be used for nutrition. And
we understand the proposal. Can we put it into writing? For example, we have the chairperson and
Yes.
2
commissioners.
Permanent commission.
Permanent
commissioners with the term of
With the term, I would suggest that it would be within the term of the appointing authority.
But later.
But later.
Isa-isahin muna natin. Can we session suspend for 1
Okay.
minute? Pwedeng i-
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. By agreement of our MPs, I respectfully move to defer discussion on committee report number 160 to be tackled again on another day to allow all members of all who have interpolated to discuss and present their respective amendments.
There is a motion of the floor seeking that we defer consideration of committee report number of the Committee on Health, committee report number 160. Do I hear any second? There is second. Do I hear any objection? Hearing none, the same is approved, and we defer consideration of committee report number 160. Pro Leader, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. With that, I move that the number six. Nawala yung number 6.
One minute suspension.
Officer, with that, I move that we recognize the Honorable Member of Parliament Alan Pagayaw to read Committee Report number 172. Pertaining to BTA Parliament Bill 3, Committee Report number 171 pertaining to BTA Parliament Bill number 59, an act instituting a labor and employment code. So move, Honorable Speaker, sir.
MP Alan Pagayo, Chairman of the Committee on Labor, is now recognized. Please take the floor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. With the kind permission of the Speaker and the indulgence of the floor leader, may we respectfully render the committee report number 171. But before our report proper, may we respectfully request the Secretariat shall be allowed to play a 1-minute video which serve as an introduction to this report.
Secretariat, there is a request that you present a video for purposes of clarity of the committee report on an act providing institutionalizing labor. Thank you. Please proceed, Secretariat.
The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao has a diverse culture and a growing workforce that drives economic development. Decades of armed conflict have left deep scars in labor market challenges. During the transition, the region developed its labor and employment policies.
I am the president of a worker union. In our workplace, we can freely organize. Our rights respected, we can bargain to social dialogue, and our occupational safety and health are guaranteed. It is a positive work environment. But the situation is not the same for all the workers in the Bangsamoro region. That's why we need a comprehensive labor code to ensure decent work, especially for workers who struggle to survive and support their family, and to strengthen our collaboration.
As an employer operating a business in a conflict-sensitive area, the resolution of labor disputes presents significant challenges in the absence of a robust support mechanisms. The deficiency of a labor code and established procedures frequently result in protracted disagreements, thereby adversely impacting the productivity of enterprises and the overall economic stability. There exists a critical need for a comprehensive labor code to enhance social dialogue, boost productivity, and sustain economic stability.
Adopting and implementing the Bangsamoro Labor and Employment Code is critical for lasting peace and sustainable development in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and Muslim Mindanao. We assured that voices were heard in consultations and dialogues, which started in 2021. We are thankful that the International Labour Organization has provided substantial support, technical expertise, and invaluable guidance throughout the journey.
The proposed Bangsamoro Labor and Employment Code reflects our commitment to promote decent work and advance social justice.
Colleagues, we welcome some important guests, our colleagues, particularly representatives from the International Labour Organization. Welcome to the Bangsamoro. We in the Committee of Labor is committed to the swift passage of the Labor Code. This Labor Code has been adjudged by many as a modern labor code, and recommendations that we provided by the International Labour Organization. That includes also the rural rural workers. We in the BAM are labor friendly, and we want to address all concerns.
ILO is deeply honored to support the Bangsamoro Labor and Employment Code, a powerful step towards dignity at work, fairness, and lasting peace. This journey began with understanding through a careful assessment of the region's labor institutions. Together, we are building a stronger foundation for decent work, social justice, and hope for every worker and family in Bangsamoro.
The Bangsamoro Labor and Employment Code, with possible support from the International Labor Organization, will benefit the government, the workers, employers, and the whole BARM communities. It aims to create a fair, just, and balanced labor market by promoting decent work. This will help rebuild trust among people, strengthen social unity, and support economic recovery and long-term development.
We, the Committee on Labor and Employment, or COLE, reaffirm our strong commitment to the swift passage of Bangsamoro Labor and Employment Code. Our committee is united in ensuring that every provision of the BLEC is upheld, fostering decent work and economic development. Together, we will work tirelessly to support and protect the rights of every worker and employer in the Bangsamoro region.
The BLEC marks a new chapter for the Bangsamoro. With moral governance, we turn peace into lasting progress, bringing fairness, dignity, and opportunity. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Please proceed.
The Honorable Chief Minister, the Honorable Abdul Rauf Makakwa, the Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speakers, Floor Leader, and Deputy Floor Leaders, colleagues. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Labor and Employment and the Committee on Amendments, Revision, and Codification of Laws, to which was referred to BTA Bill number 59, introduced by MP Romeo K. Sema, entitled An Act Instituting a Labor and Employment Code for Bangsamoro Autonomous Region to uphold protection of labor, promote employment and human resources development, ensure industrial peace based on social justice, and for other related purposes, amending for the purpose Section 11, 18, and 19, Title 9, Chapter 4 of the Bangsamoro Autonomy Act number 13. Has considered the same and has the honor to report it back to the BTA and recommend its approval with the following amendments. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Labor and Employment of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority has carefully reviewed and analyzed BTA number 59, otherwise known as the Bangsamoro Labor and Employment Code of 2022. This proposed legislation aims to address the unique labor and employment landscape within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and Muslim Mindanao, or BAR. In a nutshell, it generally aims to provide a comprehensive legal framework for labor and employment in the BAR, supplementing or localizing national labor laws, uphold protection of labor, encompassing workers' rights, welfare, and social justice, promote employment and human resources development, fostering economic growth and opportunities within the region, ensure industrial peace based on social justice by establishing fair labor relations and dispute resolution mechanisms, reflect the aspirations, culture, and traditions of the Bangsamoro people in its provisions, strengthen the Ministry of Labor and Employment with increased regulatory powers and oversight to effectively address labor market challenge, institutionalize an inclusive, right-based approach to labor governance with a focus on human capital development and expanded social protection for various workers groups. including regular, differently abled, elderly, non-plantilla, and informal sector workers, prioritize job matching and placement, address the welfare of overseas Bangsamoro workers, and simplify employment types within the bar. Mr. Speaker, in the early months of the BTA-2, BTA Bill number 59 or Black was filed on September 26, 2022. It proceeded with its first reading on October 17, 2022, until it was referred to the COLI and the CARCL on January 25, 2023. The former was made the lead committee in its referral as it falls squarely within its jurisdiction of the committee to tackle legislative measures relating to labor, employment, and human resource development, advancing protection of the rights and welfare of workers and labor standards. The latter's jurisdiction was invoked as it sought to amend Bangsamoro Autonomy Act number 13 and pass a codified labor and employment involved, which are matters directly touching a codification or amendment of laws passed by the Parliament. Prior to BTA-2, a version of the proposed Black already first gained traction in 2021 through the initiative of then Minister of Labor and Employment, Romeo K. Sema, who was also a member of the Parliament. Its drafting was driven by a series of write-ups, public consultation, and expert discussion led by the COLI, to which MP Sema was chaired in BTA 1. Early efforts focused on gathering inputs from labor groups, employers, civil society organizations, legal experts, and local government representatives to ensure that the proposed code will be both inclusive and responsive to the needs of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region's labor sector. A final draft was eventually completed, became BTA Bill number 201, and was transmitted to the Office of the Chief Minister in early 2022. The measure further when a committee report was filed and brought to the plenary for deliberation. However, it could progress into law. The bill lapsed in 2022. It was subsequently archived due to the adjournment sine die of the first BTA and would need refiling in BTA 2, potentially under new MPs appointed. Mr. Speaker, on its first meeting on October 2023, the COLI reviewed the outputs of public consultations and public hearings conducted by NABOLI during the first Parliament. With its decision to proceed with deliberation on the bill under BTA 2, further committee activities were held. The first public hearing was conducted on February 16, 2024, at the Park Inn by Radisson, North Edsa, Quezon City, in Manila. Presided by MP John Anthony Lim, then chairperson of the committee. The hearing was attended by labor experts from international and national government agencies, the academy, legal practitioners, and representatives from both labor and employer sector. The support for the bill was articulated mainly by House of Representatives Deputy Speaker and Trade Union Congress of the Philippine President, Raymond Mendoza, urging the Bangsamoro Parliament to swiftly pass the BTA Bill number 59 while putting emphasis on the proposed measures role in advancing the rights of Bangsamoro workers and establishing groundwork for a labor framework fit for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. This public hearing was followed by an intergovernmental dialogue with key officials of the National Department of Labor and Employment on March 4, 2024 at the Kachina Hall, Century Park Hotel, Manila. Thirdly, this activity underscored the importance of collaboration in achieving national peace and social justice through decent, sustainable, and inclusive employment for the Bangsamoro people. After this engagement, the committee convened in a caucus and later formed a technical working group headed by Honorable MP Lim to consolidate comments and recommendations drawn from the position papers, expert reviews, and the results of public hearings, stakeholder consultations, and harmonize them into a final version of the proposed code. Other members of the TWG were MPs Nabil Etan, Raisa Jajuri, and Jose Lorena. The TWG, with each defined time frame, focused mandate, met a total of 6 times online and on-site in Cotabato City from March to August 2024 to discuss the provisions of the bill and spend time deliberating the consolidated metrics of comments, suggestions, and recommendations of experts, resource persons, and stakeholders. The TWG was able to hold another public hearing in Manila and was enlightened further on public sector labor concerns. Mr. Speaker, in June 2025, following the reappointment of appointments of new MPs by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., the statutory and parliamentary committees in the BTA were reorganized. This representation was tasked to be the chairperson of the COLE. Upon assuming office, the committee prioritized this code in the committee agenda, noting its pendency since 2022. The substantial legislative groundwork already accomplished and its inclusion in its priority legislative agenda of the current interim chief minister. To expedite the process, we repeatedly keep in touch with the TWG to get the work moving alongside conducting a parallel effort of constituting a group of experts. This group then met and conducted a 9-day intensive workshop from July 22 to August 2025, consisting of a 3-day session at One Pacific Hotel in Manila, followed by a 5-day session at Green Tea Cafe in Cotabato City. The workshop was composed of prominent legal professionals and labor experts, attorneys Rebecca Chato, Randolph Huntilia, Abdel Jamal Disangkupan, Hisham Nas Birwar, Muhammad Ramis Omar, Jamaira E. Nagamura, and Nur Alisa Disu. They were joined by Ms. Nadia Lorena and Ms. Sunita Iliore. The workshop design was also reviewed and consolidated previous inputs on the draft bill, engaged in detailed discussion to resolve outstanding legal, policy, and technical issues, and proposed necessary amendments to ensure alignment with national laws, Islamic principles, and labor standards. The group of experts made use of the working material references produced by the TWG with the framework to contribute policy and technical insights based on their expertise and experience. Finally, the group of experts ensured the provision reflect the realities of employers and employees in BAR, including vulnerable sectors. The right shop concluded with the preparation of the final draft of the proposed code. Mr. Speaker, the bill received 8 position papers coming from the University of the Philippine College of Law Workers and Employees Program, Uni Global Union, Sentro ng mga nagkakaisa at progresibong manggagawa, Office of Party List Representative Raymond Mendoza, Dolly and Molly, MPs Nabil Etan and Romy Quezema also formally submitted their comments. Various inputs and observations were also raised during public hearings, and supportive comments were likewise expressed by the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, Centro, Partido Manggagawa, the Greenfield International Union of Food Asia Pacific Regions, Building and Woodworkers International for Asia Pacific, and the International Labor Organization. In addition to the right shop during the last week of July 2025, the first week of August 2025, followed by a comprehensive technical review of the outputs, the break has undergone 2 public hearings, 6 TWG meetings, and 9 expert group meetings. On August 20, 2025, the committee convened mainly to deliberate on the TWG report-based experts group, leading to the COLI adopting the report in full, as it saw that the report satisfactorily met the objective of to consolidate, refine, and finalize the draft bill number 59. The committee took note of the extensive deliberation on the bill, with its provisions and revisions scrutinized in detail. As stated in the TWG report, it was submitted to meet the goal of passing a well-studied and right-based draft for the adoption, which got the full concurrence of the committee. Upon the following week, August 26, 2025, the COLI held 2 joint committee meetings, CARCL and the Committee on Finance, Budget and Management. The first joint meeting focused on the deliberating the amendments touched by the pending legislative measures with the existing BAA number 13, specifically the powers of the MOLI and other provisions potentially affected with its passing. The joint meeting of the committee with CFBM ensured that the bill's financial provisions were carefully evaluated to enhance its administrative feasibility, considering that the funding is intended to support the creation of the Bangsamoro Labor Conciliation and Arbitration Board, or BLCAB, the quasi-judicial body to be created within the MOLI. The COLI has identified areas worth highlighting to stress that the break would uphold higher standards without diminishing the rights and standards already stated in the National Labor Code of the Philippines as amended. This highlights codes in a general overview of the bill, and as specific revisions proposed by the committee are the following. On matters of form, Mr. Speaker, use of Bangsamoro Autonomous Region per the Bangsamoro Organic Law and not Bangsamoro Region only. Consistent use of Minister of Labor and Employment, which is the correct description instead of Minister of MOLI. Uniform use of his or her instead of he only to be consistent with the gender-sensitive language legislation pursuant to PCW Memorandum Circular number 2014-06. Added constituent to local government units to specify that the provisions apply to constituent local government units within the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Sticking to the use of book, then chapters as much as practicable instead of books, then titles, followed by chapters. Related the paragraphs as appropriate and renumber the sections accordingly. Mr. Speaker, on matters of substance, revisions of provisions per inputs received as deliberated by the TWG-based expert groups after committee adoption and deliberation in the joint committee meetings. Referencing on existing Bangsamoro Autonomy Act or BAA, namely BAA number 72, providing for bereavement leave privileges, BAA number 19 or an act to institutionalize policies for Bangsamoro overseas employment and establishing standard of protection and promotions of the welfare of overseas Bangsamoro workers and their families, and for other purposes. BAA number 39 or the Bangsamoro Holidays Act and BAA number 9 or an act regulating the operations of local and foreign recruitment agencies within BAN. Further modification of BAA 13 or the Bangsamoro Admin Code, as it did not only limit it to the original intent of the bill to amend sections 11, 18, and 19, Title 9, Chapter 4 of BAA 13, with these sections refer to the functions of the Bureau of Labor Relations and Standards, or BLRS, in Section 11, the creation of the Bangsamoro Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board in Section 18, and the composition of the BTWPB in Section 19. Heavily referenced national status and administrative rules and regulations, starting with the National Labor Code of the Philippines as amended, the Bangsamoro Organic Law, among other laws, and alignment with the Philippines EHU, the Bangsamoro commitment under international law, specifically International Labor Organizations conventions. Mr. Speaker, on the title and repealing clause, the title draft its mandatory specification of sections 11, 19, 18, and 19, Title 9, Chapter 4 of BAA 13, as in the course of the discussion, other sections such as Section 1, 12, 13, insofar as they refer to the modification and conciliation mediation division are also affected. With the creation of the BLCAM, coinciding with the mandate of the Bangsamoro Labor Relations Standards and the clarification on the structural and functional role of the Bangsamoro Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board, BLEC substantially modifies the powers of MOLE, strengthening its regulatory powers for increased oversight, improved compliance, and overall be better equipped to address persistent labor market challenges involved. The decision of the committee then was to keep it broader, thereby adding a general repealing clause to ensure coherence and consistency with BAA 13. On application, Mr. Speaker, BLEC is set to become the BTS primordial initiative to codify the labor employment provisions in BARM and is expected to institutionalize an inclusive, right-based approach to labor governance in the region. It is targeted to become the primary governing legislation on labor employment for employers and employees or workers in BARM. The National Labor Code of the Philippines, as amended, shall now become a supplemental law in areas where black does not find application. In addition to the National Labor Code, the black studied and reference statutes that have a direct effect on the provision of said code, from newly enacted ones to decade existing, such as the Civil Code of the Philippines as amended and Presidential Decree number 1083 or the Code of Muslim Personal Laws, as well as administrative rules issued by the national government, mainly from Doli. On more protection of special workers in BAM, Mr. Speaker, while the National Labor Code of the Philippines as amended provide protections for certain workers, the BLAC introduces a more comprehensive framework for special workers categories under Book 1, Title 5. These provisions recognize the unique circumstances of specific sectors of labor force in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and institutionalize design mechanism to safeguard the rights and promote inclusive participation in the workforce for differently abled workers in Section 30 to 33, elderly workers in Section 34 to 35, and workers in the informal economy in Sections 49 to 51. These provisions in Book 1, Title 4 expand the national framework for providing clearer mandates and more responsive mechanism for worker sectors that are often marginalized. On the enhanced and intensified rules of the Ministry of Labor and Employment, more than playing a significant role in the effective implementation of the BLAC, the powers further given to the ministry are made to enhance the labor market and push the ministry to create better quality income and opportunities in the Bangsamoro. Under the BLAC, Mori shall exercise the following 12 generalized core powers and functions, which includes to formulate and issue IRR, implementing rules and regulations, and subject specific guidelines, including those on government labor rights, workplace accessibility, Ramadan observance, paternity leave, quarantine leave, and sexual harassment prevention in Section 6, 2832, 112, 132, 137, 144, and 156. Regulate and oversee recruitment and placement of workers, both local and overseas, including registration, accreditation, suspension, inspection, and publication of licensed agencies in Section 9 and 12 and 21 to 25. Implement employment facilitation and special programs, such as the Special Program for Employment of Bangsamoro Students and Youth, Develop Internship Development Program, Job Start, Elderly Workers Employment, and Employment Transition Assistance for informal workers in Sections 11 to 14, 35, and 51. Coordinate and supervise the establishment of public employment service offices, require job vacancy reporting, conduct job fairs, special recruitment activities, and maintain a labor market information system for BARM in Section 16 to 19. Register, regulate, and monitor employment agreements, including those of differently abled persons and domestic workers, and develop model contracts for household workers in Section 33 and 46. Fix and regularly review minimum wage rates for workers, issue wage orders, hear appeals, set wage standards, correct wage distortion, and grant exemption to financially distressed employers in Section 47, 94, 96 to 99, and 102. Conduct inspection and compliance monitoring of recruitment agencies, DAP workplace, domestic workers, OSH compliance, and general labor law adherence, including annual spontaneous inspection in section 25, 33, 46, 126, and 153. Regulate the employment of special sectors, including child workers, differently abled persons, elderly workers, and foreign nationals in section 32, 36, 40, 43, 52, 54, 55, and 35.
Honorable Speaker, sorry to interrupt the good gentleman from Cotabato. May I request for 1 minute suspension?
1 minute suspension.
Yeah.
With that, the Honorable Speaker, may the Honorable Deputy Speaker Baintan Ampatuan be recognized.
Deputy Speaker by
Dito na
Tenant
lang
Patar is
tayo.
recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a manifestation, Mr. Speaker, because a lot of committee reports have been included in the order of business. Can we allow all the committee reports to be read first before the period of interpellation and debate so that we have enough time to prepare? Because these are long bills that needs time and focus. Mr. Speaker, if you will note, just for the black, they have 205 pages committee report. And I don't think everyone is ready now to interpolate. I've been actually browsing my files because matagal na ito na bill, and I have comparative file there, analysis of the bill. But it takes time for us to really digest the committee report, Mr. Speaker. So my proposal is that thank you that we have a committee report on the black. Then maybe we can proceed with the revenue code, then proceed with the budget law, so that we have all enough time for next week to study all these, and when we come back, we are ready for the interpretation of all these bills. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Floor Leader, your response to that? Sir?
Actually, I submit to the wisdom of the plenary, especially the speaker. But I think the sponsors of the committee report, may I move that they be recognized as well, Honorable President?
Yes, the chairman of the Committee on Labor, Alan Pagayaw, is recognized. Ken, for your comment on that proposal.
Mr. Speaker, our prayer is to adopt this committee report, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, having heard the manifestation of the proponents of the committee report, I therefore move that the committee report be adopted as read, and later on be open for interpellation by the members of the Parliament or deliberation.
So there is a motion from the floor to adopt the report of the Committee of Labor for purposes of deliberation. Do I hear any second? Has been seconded. Do I hear any objection? Hearing none, the same is approved. The Committee on Report is adopted for purposes of deliberation. Floor Leader?
1 minute suspension, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Session suspended for 1 minute. Sign nila, then saka nakisupi ka dito pwede i-adapt lang lahat. Ikaw na. Para Para maka-prepare naman ng members. Session resume. Floor leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The good MPs have come to consensus. We will be proceeding with the other committee reports. With that, I move that the Honorable Teng Ambulodto, I move that he be recognized to read Committee Report number 164, submitted by the Committee on Bangsamoro Justice System, pertaining to Consolidated Bill numbers 353 and 25. So move, Honorable Speaker.
The illustrious chairman of the Committee on Bangsamoro Justice, Commodore MP Teng Ambulodto is recognized. Commodore Ambulodto, the floor is yours. Hindi pa? Ako na pa. Pero sa double vote pa yan.
1 minute suspension.
Wala pa eh.
My motion to recognize the Honorable MP Teng Ambulodto to render Committee Report number 164 pertaining to Consolidated BTA Bills number 353 and 25. So move, Presiding Officer, sir.
On the Bangsamoro Justice, Justice MP and Commodore Suharto Ambulodto is recognized. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, distinguished members of this august chamber, brothers and sisters in the struggle, today we stand in the edge of history. For decades, our people have carried the scars of conflict. Generations after generations of Bangsamoro children have grown up not with the lullabies of their mothers, but with the echoes of war. Ilang libong pamilya ang nawala ng tahanan, ilang buhay ang nawala, ilang pangarap ang nadurog bago pa man nagsimulang magmukadkad. But today, Allah has given us a chance to live, to govern, and to heal. This position we hold today, the parliament we serve, is not ours by accident. It is a trust, an amana from Allah, from our people. We are indebted to govern with justice, with fairness, with compassion, and in the Bangsamoro, that means governing with moral governance as our guiding light. Mr. Speaker, our colleagues in this august chamber, the bill that we present today, the consolidated BTA bills number 353 and 25, offers a different future. A future not built on silence, not on forgetting, but on truth, justice, and reconciliation. Aming mga kasama, this is just another piece of legislation. If passed,